Alright, today is Friday, July 29th, 2022. I'm going to do a review of the price action this week, starting on Monday, July 25th, for the AM session on the NASDAQ. And so, starting off on July 25th, Monday, right here at market open, we're in a no trade zone. Got rejected off of this resistance level, went short here, short around 382. It ran down a little bit, almost 30 points or so, quickly retraced, and we would have been stopped out around 410 or so. Probably would have had a 25-point stop, so it might have been stopped out more in this area. It's not a great start. Next trade would have come right in this area as a sweet spot, short at 390.5. That one quickly retraced as well. Would have been stopped out in that area for 15-point loss. This technically is another sweet spot. I did not take that one just after this failed sweet spot. I wanted to see us kind of break out that range a little bit more. So not a great start to the day on Monday. Got a good entry right here, short at 373. Quickly went in your favor, almost 30 points. Retraced back. On a shorter bar like this, I like to have my stop above the second bar, or the bar prior to the entry bar. So short at 73, my stop was up in this area around 395. Shorter bar, it's easy for it to kind of go above that bar and stop you out if you use that entry bar for your stop. So short right here at 373. Got a nice run down here. Got to a low about 320. Retraced a little bit. Two white bar exit would have been right in that area, and would have been stopped out right around here, around 339. In at 373, so a little more than 30 points or so. Recouped a little bit of what we lost at the beginning, definitely not all of it. I think for me on this day, I was done trading at this point, just didn't have great entries or didn't have great trends to start the day, and so I kind of was at a loss that I felt comfortable just calling it a day on. Short here at 325. That one didn't really quite work out either. Would have been stopped out up in this area. So that was how we started off the week on the 25th. Not a great start to the week. Let's move along to Tuesday, 26th. Take a look at these signals. So here at market open, a couple neutral bars. Got a sweet spot right here. Short at 245, kind of trudged along a little bit, got to a high right there, about 10 points against you, and then this then ran down a good 50 points right there. And if you had like a 50-point profit target, that would have been hit. If not, you would have been stopped out or about break even, maybe you got a couple points. But that would have been second level right there. So about a break even trade, first trade of the day. Next trade kind of goes back to what I was just saying, short bar as the entry bar. I like to put my stop above the bar before. So right here we're short at about 216. So I would have my stop over here. This thing was a nice little runner. Came down nicely. To neutral bar exit would have had you out right in this area. But that gave you 16 down to about 56. It gave you a good 60 points or so from entry to low there. Not a great trade here. Valid entry though, short at 161. Quickly retraced. Would have been stopped out on that one. Good sweet spot right here. Red bar. Came up and tested, red oscillator short at 168.5, and we've been stopped out down in this area for about 25 points or so. So that was a good little run right there. So moving along to Wednesday, the 27th. Try and go through these pretty quickly and not provide too much commentary. So this was an interesting one. This showed 3 minutes starting to print. Obviously, it didn't confirm, but right here, I went short, and it was a great learning lesson. And what I'm going to start doing going forward is right here was the 633 bar, and I went short in the very next bar. That 3 minute bar still has another 2 minutes before it's finally confirmed. I don't want to be taking trades on the first minute of that 3 minute bar. So if this bar came down and was still showing that 3 minute sell signal, I should have jumped in on that one. Instead, I pulled the trigger right here, got stopped out pretty quickly. So just something I want to take forward, just entering as we get closer to that full confirmation. Ideally, you want to go in on the full confirmation of the 3 minute bar print. But I think doing it 1 minute before is much safer than like on this instance going in at 6:34 versus maybe 6:35 a.m. So anyways, a little side bit there. Obviously looking at it in hindsight, you wouldn't go in because support was still printing, but in real time it was showing the 3 minute sell signal. Of course, like I said, didn't print. So that was a quick stop out for me on that one. Wish I wouldn't have taken that trade, but made it back here long at 332, ripped higher, got up to a high of 400 right there, and then kind of trudged along. Would have been stopped out on this bar right here. Put a stop a couple points below that white bar, and would have been stopped out right in this area. So that was a good runner that made up for that initial loss. Frankly, shouldn't have had that loss though. And then kind of just trudged higher from there. Didn't really give us a good entry to get back in until later in the morning right here around 7:50 or so, long at 412. That thing jumped up higher, got almost up to 450, and then came back down, gave you about 20 points or so. And getting a little bit later in the morning, and long here, don't love the long bar, and then just kind of bounced around and slowly grinded higher from there. Moving along to Thursday, July 28th. I think Thursday was a pretty solid day. Let's see here. Yeah, so here is market open. Some people would have taken this as a long. I don't like to take that first bar and use that as an entry bar. So I sat on my hands until we came down here. I went short right here at 544.5. Kind of go back to my last point there. Here was the first bar of the 3 minute bar, first minute before a 3 minute bar printed. And so it started to show here, but you still have 2 more minutes before it's confirmed. And so I decided to go short here, knowing that there's just 1 more minute before that's fully confirmed. We're well beneath that support level. And so that was my justification of going short right there. And that will be my justification going forward. Just wanting to be as close to that full confirmation as possible. Sometimes you just don't want to wait for the full confirmation, because if I would have been gotten in down here, and it's pretty deep into the trend at that point. So I was short right here, 545. This thing ran down to a low of 77.5. On this particular trade, I had a 50-point profit target, and that got hit pretty quickly down in this area. And so that was a nice little runner that only took a couple minutes. So that was a great trade right there. Following in AbleTrend guidelines, you would have been out right in this area for maybe a little less than 40 points or so. Entry back in would have been right in here. Probably would have been a loss having your stop right here. Potentially could have jumped back in right here and kind of maybe grind it out a little bit of a break-even trade. That was a good little rundown right there. Following that, though, we got this awesome stair step higher. Would have been long in this area right here, following that kind of new guidelines that I'm using, being as close to the full confirmation as possible. So long at 41, 541. This thing ran up to almost 100 points, about 90 points or so, and then you would have been out in this area for a little more than 60 points. So that was a nice little run right after this quick sell-off. Zooming out, you can really see it. Pretty awesome price action right there using AbleTrend charts. So fast forward to today, Friday, July 29th. I still have my entries from today. So here, market open. Again, I kind of waited. Didn't want to take that first entry bar, especially, kind of retraced a little bit, tested that resistance level, and then I went short on this sweet spot right here at about 786, and I saw some weakness down in this area, and I locked in 1R and took 25 points on this. Yes, didn't follow any guidelines on that. That was just my, I guess, instinct. Market open, didn't want to take, a loss after being this much in the green, so I just locked in 1R. As I risked 25 points, I locked in 25 points. So that was a good little start to the day. Just taking a quick little piece. Didn't love how extended this got. Could have technically entered right here, being 1 minute away from the confirmation, but I didn't. And then once we got up here, I just didn't love entering all the way up here after we've moved this much already, and I missed out on the trend. So I sat on my hands throughout this whole little slow grind up, and then didn't take another trade until this sweet spot right here. Because nothing was valid in there. Got a blue bar, blue oscillator down here, long around 98.5. Had my stop down here. It's about 20-point stop. And kind of did the same thing here. I locked in 1R. So I risked 20 points. I actually think I locked in 25 points. So, kind of two 25-point trades. And I called it a day after that. We did have a nice sell signal right here that gave us a good downtrend. We'd be short right here at 873, we'll call it. And this thing ran down nicely. This did not stop you out. You had a 2 white bar exit right there, but didn't stop you out. And so you wouldn't have been stopped out until down in this area around, let's call it 816 or so. We're short at 873. So that's a nice, a little more than 50 points on that down trend, kind of a little bit later in the morning. So overall, pretty solid week. Really choppy start on Monday, but the rest of the week gave you some good trends where you could capture some profit using AbleTrend charts. So that was it. That was the week of, July 25th to July 29th. Cheers.